Good afternoon to all my dear students. We are in Unit 3, wherein we have already spoken about Part A of the unit. When we were dealing with Part A of the unit, we dealt with different concepts regarding the president of our country. We spoke in detail who is being regarded as the president of the country, what are his qualifications required to get or for the position of the president of the country. Next, we spoke about the emoluments and allowances of the president, spoke about the procedure for election of a president, how a vacancy is being created in the office of the president. What do you mean by impeachment? The process of impeachment. Then we studied the powers and functions of a president. In that one specific class, I spoke about what are the special powers during the time of emergency. There were three types of emergency. The first one was state, or you can say national emergency. The second one was state emergency, and third one was financial emergency. Then I gave a little bit glance about the president, or you can say the vice president of our country. Okay. Today we are going to start with one more topic, that is in the same unit, Unit 3, we are going to deal with Part B, that is the Prime Minister of our country. So students, in our Part A, we have already dealt about the President of our country. So today we are going to speak about the Prime Minister of our country. I hope at least you know who is the current Prime Minister of our country, right? Okay. So let's understand more about him. So let's start with the introduction first. Students, when I speak about the Prime Minister of our country, he has been regarded as the most important, or you can say the most significant person in the entire political arena or the entire political system of our country. He has been regarded as the heart of the cabinet, and he is the real executive of the country. Now, when I was teaching you all the introductory part of the president of our country, I told that our country has adopted a parliamentary form of government, which is divided into two, wherein we have a nominal executive who is called as the president of our country, and we have a real executive who has been regarded as the Prime Minister of our country. Students, this concept of Prime Minister was initially originated in the England. It was around 18th century that this concept came into existence. And when I was teaching you all the silent features of Indian Constitution, I told you that we have borrowed some provisions from different countries. Same way, this provision, or you can say the office of Prime Minister, is being borrowed by the framers of the Constitution from England. So students, when I speak about the Constitution of our country, it provides for a council of ministers. And very importantly, when I speak about the council of ministers, you have to understand that There is a Prime Minister who is heading the Council of Ministers. And very importantly, he is a person who assists, who helps the president of our country to look after the working and governance of our nation. Now, when I speak about the Prime Minister of the country, it is usually, or he is a person who is the leader of the ruling party. Now, you all must be knowing which is the ruling party in our country. So, the leader of that particular ruling party is being regarded as the Prime Minister of the country. And along with him, he have different ministers called as the Council of Ministers. Students, when I speak about the Prime Minister of a country, he is considered to be a central figure. He is considered to be the supreme leader. And very, very importantly, when I speak about the Prime Minister of a country, he has enormous powers with him. So, when I dealing with the introductory part, you have to understand that the Prime Minister is one of the important, or you can say significant person in the entire global arena of the political system. He is the supreme figure. He is the central figure, you can say. And all the real executive powers of the country are vested in the hands of PM, that is Prime Minister. So let us now understand what is the appointment of the Prime Minister. Students, when I speak about the appointment of Prime Minister, first and foremost, he can be a leader of Lok Sabha, or the leader of Lok Sabha is being regarded as the Prime Minister. Students, the first step in the process of forming the Council of Ministers, the first and the foremost step is to find the Prime Minister of the country. Why we have to find the Prime Minister of the country? Because when I speak about the Prime Minister, he is a person who secures the support of his colleagues. He is the person who proves that support in the House of People, Lok Sabha. In short, it is called as House of People. In detail, we are going to study about Lok Sabha, no doubt. Students, I told you when I was explaining you all the presidentship that the Prime Minister is chosen by the President of the country. Now, when I'm speaking about his selection, no doubt the choice range is very much limited because he is directly elected by the people. Now, when a president is choosing a Prime Minister, he must choose a Prime Minister who has the support of the party. And support of the party is not just required. It should command a majority in the lower house. Majority of the people should support him in, you can say, lower house, or you call it as House of People, or you call it as Lok Sabha. As long as there is a political party which is commanding majority in the Lok Sabha, very importantly, president has no role to play, because automatically the leader of the Lok Sabha becomes the prime minister of the country. So the president does not have much authority only. He selects, he has a very much limited range. But what happens? How is the selection taking place? The selection is taking place on the number of majority of votes given by the people, that is called as people of house, or you can say Lok Sabha. So when I speak about the leader of Lok Sabha, turns out to be the prime minister of the country. So very importantly, again I'm telling you, the first and foremost step in Lok Sabha is to find the prime minister. And how can you find a prime minister? A prime minister can be chosen depending upon the majority of the ruling party in the Lok Sabha. Now next one. The next appointment depends upon the discretion of the president in selection of the prime minister. Now students, what happens is, usually the leader of the party commands majority, and once he commands the majority, naturally he becomes the prime minister of the country. But this is a general rule, okay? This is a general phenomena which is followed. When there is a majority in the Lok Sabha, naturally what will happen when there is a majority in Lok Sabha? That leader will turn out to be, you can say, the leader, or that person will turn out to be the prime minister of the country. But when I'm speaking about the discretion of the president in choosing the prime minister, students, there are circumstances which arises, or there are circumstances wherein the president has to exercise his own personal judgment. Means, in short, what? The president has to choose according to his wish, according to his desire. He has to exercise his judgment. He has to tell, no, he will become or she will become the prime minister. He has to tell his own opinion. Now, this may happen in some circumstances. Now, when there is a discretion of the president in choosing or selecting prime minister, see, at a usual go, the ruler of the majority party becomes the prime minister. But there are, again I'm repeating, there are circumstances in which the president has to choose or exercise his personal judgment. Now, the circumstances in which the president has to choose the prime minister is as follows. You can say, when the prime minister in the office expires, or you can say dies, or there is a death of the PM of a country, or a situation arises wherein the prime minister, for his personal grounds or for his personal reason, resigns, leaves the post of PM. At that point of time, the president has to immediately make discretion and select who is going to be the next PM of the country. Students, if the parties have no recognized leader, I'm speaking about both the parties, that is Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha. Or you can say, if either of the two parties will be able to form a government and command the support of, you can say, Lok Sabha, in such circumstances, what can the president do? He can explore more opportunities to find that, okay, this person can be regarded as the president or you can say this person can be regarded as a PM of the country. This is the only situation wherein the president can exercise his discretionary powers. When I speak about the president, students, the president appoints such a person as a PM, that is Prime Minister, whom he feels that he will be able to get support. And that support should be from the majority members of the Lok Sabha. So I'm repeating it again and again. If the majority of people from the Lok Sabha selects or elects a member, he turns to be the leader, and that leader turns to be the Prime Minister of the country. Next, Prime Minister from Raj Sabha. Students, usually in normal circumstances, or you can say most of the times, the leader of majority party in Lok Sabha becomes the Prime Minister of the country. But it is not necessary, students, that he always should belong from Lok Sabha only. But in most of the circumstances, the leader of the Lok Sabha only becomes the Prime Minister. But the Constitution has given provision wherein the leader from Rajya Sabha also can be appointed as Prime Minister. There is no hard and fast rule that the leader of Lok Sabha only turns to be a Prime Minister. No. There is a provision which is given wherein the leader of Rajya Sabha can be also called as the Prime Minister of the country. There are many situations wherein our country has witnessed leader from Rajya Sabha. This happened during Indira Gandhi's time. This happened recently during Dr. Manmohan Singh, who became the Prime Minister, and he was the leader from Rajya Sabha. So I have given you all examples also wherein the leader of Rajya Sabha turned out to be the Prime Minister of the country. Next, non-member as a Prime Minister. Now sometimes what happens is, a person may not be a member of either houses. That means a member may be not even from the Lok Sabha, or he may not be a leader of Rajya Sabha also. See, I have told you first situations wherein the leader of Lok Sabha usually has a majority, and the majority party ruling, the leader of that particular party becomes the Prime Minister. Then I told you the circumstances in which the president of a country chooses the PM. Then I spoke about that it is not compulsory that only the leader of Lok Sabha is appointed as a Prime Minister. Now I am explaining your situation wherein a member is not even the, you can say, the leader of Lok Sabha, and he is not even the leader of Rajya Sabha. And if such person is being appointed as PM, students, there are circumstances in which a person is being appointed wherein he is not the member of either of the parties. Means he is not a member of Lok Sabha also, and he is not the member of Rajya Sabha also. Now here what happens is, he can continue to be the minister for almost 6 months. But after the period of 6 months, what happens is, if he still desires, if he still want to continue for the post of the same, then he has to become the member of any one of the houses of parliament. And he has to become a member of any house of the parliament within a period of 6 months. Very importantly, I'm telling you all again, appointment of Prime Minister. I'm repeating the slide. See, how is the appointment of Prime Minister? Very simple. The leader of House of People, the leader of Lok Sabha, the leader of ruling party, the leader of majority party becomes the Prime Minister of the country. Okay. Now, second appointment is through the discretion of the President in selecting, not electing. See, usually the selection or election is taken place through the ruler or leader of the Lok Sabha only. But what happens is, if the PM vacates his office, it is the duty of the President to give charge of PM to the next person. So at that point of time, the President can give his own discretionary, you can say, authority to choose or select the Prime Minister. Now, sometimes there are cases wherein the Prime Minister is being selected from a Rajya Sabha. There is no compulsion that the Prime Minister has to be selected only from Lok Sabha. He can be always selected, or he can also be selected from Rajya Sabha. Means same thing. The ruler or the leader of that particular Rajya Sabha who has majority, wherein can be turned into the Prime Minister of the country. Now, sometimes a member is appointed wherein he is neither the member of Rajya Sabha nor he is the member of Lok Sabha. And if he is selected to be the Prime Minister of a country, the constitutional provisions allows him to do so. But if he still wants to continue to be the Prime Minister of a country, at that point of time, he has to register himself in either of the houses. Either he has to register as a member of Lok Sabha, or he has to register as a member of Rajya Sabha. Clear? Okay. Now, let us start with the next concept, which speaks about the powers and functions of the Prime Minister of our country. Students, the first and the foremost function is he is being regarded as the chief advisor to the President of India. When I speak about the PM of our country, he is the chief advisor to the President. He is the primary source of information to the President of our country. Students, the Prime Minister of our country informs the President about all the important decisions which are required for the running of the government and all the information which are required for policy making or framing policies. Students, it is the duty on the part of the Prime Minister of a country to communicate to the President all the decisions of the Council of Ministers. And very importantly, he should communicate the information relating to the administration and working of the different legislations and different Council of Ministers. When I speak about the PM, the first function is he acts like a chief advisor to the President of our country. He is the primary source of information. It is a duty on the part of the Prime Minister to provide information to the President of the country. He has to provide information regarding all the administrative affairs. He has to provide information about the entire working and governance of the country to the President of the country. It is the duty on the part of the Prime Minister to communicate all the important and informational decisions which help in running of the government which helps in taking important decisions relating to administrative working of the country. The next function is control over the Council of Ministers. Students, the Prime Minister has control over the Council of Ministers. Now what happens is that the President of the country asks the Prime Minister, wherein he asks to give a list of persons whom he would like to appoint as the member of Council of Ministers. This authority is being granted to the PM of the country. The President of the country asks aid or asks assistance to the Prime Minister of the country to appoint the members of the different Council of Ministers. No doubt the President of the country appoints such ministers, but very importantly, you should understand that even if the sole authority is given to the President appoints the Council of Ministers only on the recommendation, or you can say suggestion, which has been given by the Prime Minister of the country. So I told you that when I was teaching your introductory part, that the Prime Minister of a country is considered to be a central figure. He occupies a central position in the Council of Ministers. He is a person who chooses different ministers. Now, students, when I speak about the Prime Minister, if imagine there is a situation wherein there is a conflict between the ministers, different ministers, or if there is a conflict which arises between ministers and PM, or a minister and a PM. At that point of time, the minister, that is the Prime Minister, may ask that particular minister to resign from the post. This authority and this control is given in the hands of Prime Minister. Now, even after the PM, that is Prime Minister, asking him to resign, he has not resigned. Imagine. Then the President of our country may remove him from the Council of Ministry only. And the President will remove that particular minister from that position only and only on the recommendation which has been given by the Prime Minister of our country. So what happens is, when I'm speaking about the control, second power or function, you can say, control over the Council of Ministers, students, it is only and only on the recommendation of the Prime Minister that the ministers in the councils are being appointed. See, the Prime Minister is the person who presides over all the meetings of the Council of Ministers. And all the different ministers are bound by the decisions of the Prime Minister. Very importantly, the Prime Minister keeps all the Council of Ministers under his authority. He does not allow anyone to exercise control over him. This authority has been given by the constitutional provisions to the Prime Minister of our country. So the first function is he acts like a chief advisor, wherein he provides all the information, he provides all the important decisions regarding the working and administration to the President of the country. Second one is he has a control over the Council of Ministers. I told you, he is the central figure. He is the one who appoints the ministers He gives advices, recommendations to the president to select the ministers. He is considered to be the central figure. All the different ministers are bound by his decisions. Next, the third function is, or the third part is, Prime Minister is considered to be the link between the cabinet, Council of Ministers and the President of India. Students, he is considered to be a mediator. When I speak about the Prime Minister of a country, he is being regarded as the mediator between the cabinet, the Council of Ministers and the President. The Constitution of a country provides for a different Council of Ministers, wherein the Council of Ministers is being headed by whom? The Prime Minister of the country. And this Prime Minister gives advices to the President of the country. So the President is required to act according to the advices and suggestions or recommendations given by the Prime Minister of the country. The President has to work according to the assistance in working or management of the government which has been given by the Prime Minister. Students, the Prime Minister acts like a mediator. He acts like a link between the Cabinet, Council of Ministers and the President. The Prime Minister of a country keeps the ministry informed about the overall working of the different Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister, very importantly, communicates each and every decision regarding the Council of Ministers to the President. And hence, he is acting like a link between the Council of Ministry and the President of our country. Next, the fourth function, which states about distribution of portfolios. Now students, when I speak about distribution of portfolios, he has the power to distribute the responsibilities. Now, apart from the power given to the Prime Minister to appoint various ministers, the Prime Minister of our country is also allotted, you can say, wherein he has to allocate, he has to allot, he has to distribute the power, students. And what he has to do, he has to first of all select the ministers, and very importantly, he has to distribute their powers, he has to decide their departments. Now, always remember, a strength of a particular member is known by the portfolio he carries, or what is the portfolio he holds. Usually, students, what happens is, stronger the responsibility, stronger is the portfolio. Thus, when I speak about the fourth power of the Prime Minister, he has a major task of distributing the roles to the ministers. He has important tasks to decide the responsibilities of the ministers. And very importantly, in doing so, it involves lots of genuity, and he should be, or I can say he should use different tactics and skills. Now, usually what happens, in this Council of Ministers, most of the times, the senior most member is considered for that particular post. But we have an era wherein there is no single party which is prevailing or enjoys the majority powers. We have different ruling parties in our country who desire to form their own government. So, what happens is, at this point of time, the Prime Minister has to use his tactic in deciding the departments, roles, portfolios, responsibilities about a particular ministry. Next, the fifth power or function speaks about control over the parliament. Students, the Prime Minister of a country plays a very important role in the parliament. I told you, he is considered to be the supreme or the central figure, and he is looked up for all the important decisions of our nation. He is the one who makes the proposals of the dates for summons of the houses, or you can say the parliament. He decides the programs for the sessions. He decides what items, or you can say what things have to be carried out. He helps the speaker in maintaining the order and discipline of the parliament. And very importantly, he represents the government in front of both the houses, upper house as well as lower house, Rajya Sabha as well as Lok Sabha. Next, the sixth function is he has control over the cabinet. Now, what is a cabinet? Cabinet is, you can say, it is a small association, or it is a small body of different ministers who occupy different positions in our country, or you can say who have different portfolios, you can say who have different responsibilities. Now, what does this cabinet do? This cabinet meets and takes several important decisions. Now, when I speak about the Prime Minister, students, he is the one who has overall control on this cabinet. No single decision, no decision can be taken without the help of the Prime Minister. And very importantly, if any decision has to be taken, the approval and the sanctioning has to be done only and only by the Prime Minister in the cabinet. Students, when I speak about the cabinet, no person or no minister can continue to be a minister or even leave the position without the approval and sanctioning of the Prime Minister. He's the entire central authority. He is the one who gives all the sanctions. He is the one who decides the portfolios. He is the one who takes the final decision. He is considered to be the center of the cabinet. Next, he has power to dissolve Lok Sabha. I told you, power to dissolve means power to discontinue Lok Sabha. Students, the Prime Minister of a country has power to even discontinue the Lok Sabha before the period of 5 years. So, on the advice and recommendation, the President dissolves the Lok Sabha and he declares that there is a fresh election that will take place. So it is very rare, but in our country, wherein there is dissolution of Lok Sabha, I think so it had only happened during the time of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Okay. Next, power to appoint important post. This point is again correlative for portfolios. Many important posts, many important positions are appointed by the president of the country, but very importantly, the prime minister is the person who advises the president of the country to take such decisions. Now, important persons or important posts such as ambassadors, judges of Supreme Court, High Court, governors, all the heads of militaries, that is Air Wing, Navy and Army, are appointed on the advice and recommendation which has been given by the PM, that is Prime Minister. No doubt the position has been given by the President, but they are being appointed on the advice and recommendation which has been given by the Prime Minister. Next, the next part is he acts like a coordinator for different departments. Students, the Prime Minister not only heads the various departments of the central government, but he also coordinates and looks after the departments of the different governments. He tries to maintain harmony between the different departments. He tries to reduce conflicts and settle the issues if there are existing between the government. Next part is they have the Prime Minister of a country has a control or bureaucracy. Students, when I speak about bureaucracy, it means that overall working of the government. He has the power wherein he can reshuffle the bureaucracy if there is an interest of administration. He supervises the implementation of policies. He sees to it that there is proper monitoring of programs which is taking place. He supervises all the works. He monitors. And the last part is he has control over foreign affairs. Students, the Prime Minister of a country represents our nation. He represents our nation in the international field, that is outside the boundaries of our country. You must be seeing, he attends different conferences, he attends different summits. What he is doing? He is representing our country in front of different nations. He receives different foreign heads of the government. He sends messages of goodwill. He makes statements. He is a person who has diplomatic powers of the nation. He acts like a window for all different nations. Now, when there is LPG which is introduced, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization, during that time at least, the Prime Minister of a country has a very important role to be played wherein he is going to be a representative of a country. So once more, I would like to repeat all the powers and the functions. He is considered to be the chief advisor, wherein he collects the information, he receives the information, he helps the president of a country to take important decisions regarding the working of the government. He has control over the Council of Ministers. He is the central figure. All the ministers are bound to the decisions of Prime Minister. Next, he acts like a link between the Cabinet, Council of Ministers and the President. He distributes the portfolios, responsibilities, departments. He has control over the Parliament. He has control over the Cabinet. He has power to dissolve the Lok Sabha before the expiry of 5 years, before their tenure gets over. He appoints different posts. He sees to it that there is proper coordination between the different departments of the country. He has control over bureaucracy, and very importantly, he represents our country in the international fields, in the global arena. With this, we'll conclude our today's class. Thank you.